sometimes, or may I say most of the times, we ourselves are unprepared for the kind of identities that we encounter in the educational institutions. But before that, let me anchor the understanding of culture as it ought to be. Because for those who are not aware of what our cultural identity derives from, what it thrives on, what is the substratum of it, then it's very difficult to define yourself. What are you? Where do you come from? Where do you stand? What meaning do you ascribe to yourself? If you have answers to them, then you'll be able to negotiate all kinds of situations that you encounter in your academic life or even in your other life, your professional life, your dharmic life, your family, any kind of circle that you step into. So, the basic statement that they all, Pankajji, Raghavji, Amiji have said it out and outright. The basic substratum of culture is nothing but dharma. If your culture is anchored in dharma, if your culture is anchored in the sacred, then you can never go wrong. Now, I'll just try and peg certain metaphors of culture to make it a little more clear. How does culture function? As Dr. Uday Shankar said, culture is not just normative, it is formative also. I will add one more step to it. Culture is not normative, it is formative, it is also performative. So your day-to-day acts, when your mother tells you to put a diya in the temple, light the agarbatti, chant a certain stotra, then you are performing it. I'm just talking from the point of view of culture. Let's not go into the ritual part of it. The performance of it also is creating an identity for you. So you are pegging your identity as a dharmic person. You are, confirming the identity of the deity that you're worshipping. You say that the Devata is real. So some people say that, is Ganpati real? Is Brahmaji real? Is Saraswati real? Ask a Bhakt. They have actually seen them. So when you worship the Devata is giving you darshan. You are in the presence of the divine. That is what your identity keeps on becoming. If you go to a temple in Vrindavan, I went to Radha Ramanji, and there was a very beautiful Samaj Gayan. They sing hymns to the deity. It was going on. Then there was Vanshi Seva. On certain days, Radha Ramanji receives what is known as Nritya Seva. A very, very famous actress performs the Nritya Seva to the deity. Now, who are we doing it for? We are doing it for the deity. But in that process, we are also deriving our identity from that deity. Now, behind the deity's temple, there is a samadhi of the great saint Gopal Bhatt ji, जिन्होंने उन deity का, राधा रमन जी का प्राकट्य स्थान बताया था कि यहाँ पर राधा रमन जी प्रकट हुए थे और मैंने इनको लाकर इस मंदिर में रख दिया है. So, while we sit here in IIT Kharagpur, I live in Delhi, other people, you may have come from some metros. Our lives are very, very different. But what I've witnessed in Vrindavan is the daily performance of this life. And there are numerous young people like you who go to that place every day. Why do they go? What do they get there? Because that is one anchor for your identity. That is one peg where you see yourself as the person that you are. In the grand scheme of Bharatiya epistemology and ontology, you place yourself and you say, okay, I belong here. This entire heritage is mine. So I will also go one step ahead and put my foot in the door and say, culture is this huge repository of knowledge. Knowledge is what defines our culture. Why do you think we have survived so far? It is not because of some vague things like, doing certain things like pop culture does, singing, dancing, going to a discotheque. It is not this. Maybe these are part of your lives now, which is okay. Go through that phase also and discover it for yourself. But what is pegging our culture into our Bharatiya civilization is the repository of knowledge that it carries. What is this infinite reservoir of knowledge called? What we are, learning every day, the Indian knowledge systems. Indian knowledge systems is that entire open architectural framework of knowledge which contains this axiomatic knowledge to which various shastras and various poetics and literatures and symbols say that, okay, we derive our knowledge from this axiomatic source. This is our doctrine, but this is our praman. So we all belong to one place, and this is an open architecture. So therefore, it has a lot of space to accommodate other kinds of knowledges into it. So I think that the Indian cultural identity, the Hindu cultural identity, gives you infinite space to fit yourself into any kind of identity that you may dream of.